The heatwave in Gauteng is expected to last until Thursday. Temperatures are expected to peak at over 35 degrees Celsius in Pretoria, while in Johannesburg you can expect highs of above 33 degrees. ENCA's Gervin Whittles has more.
Well, yet another heatwave has returned to Gauteng, this time right in the middle of the Christmas period. The heatwave began on the 24th of December and is expected to finish on Boxing Day. But with the heatwave comes its own challenges. For the Johannesburg emergency services, it means that extra personnel are being placed on standby and they have to respond to things such as drowning, people suffering from sunstroke, as well as veld fires. I'm joined now by the spokesperson for the Johannesburg Emergency Management Services, Mr. Robert Mulaudzi, just to tell us a little bit more about what they're doing during the heatwave. Mr. Mulaudzi, what exactly are you advising residents during this heatwave?
Yeah, we advise all our residents out there to stay hydrated, drink lots of water during these extremely hot temperatures, so that we can avoid situations like where they will suffer from heat cramps, heat exhaustion, which might also cause heat stroke, as you said earlier on. And also from our side, we also want to urge all our elderly residents out there to stay indoors, to avoid direct sunlight, especially between around 11 and 3, because that's where we're having excessive, very hot temperatures.
So the heat wave, the last heat wave that we experienced was just 2 weeks ago. It's now back, but what is the increased frequency of these heat waves meant for the Johannesburg emergency services? How have you changed your plans?
Yeah, it means that we need to be more on high alert and make sure that we are on high alert so that we can be able to respond to any emergency which might occur. And it also means that we need to intensify our public education programs, because in the service we've got a special team which deals with community public education out there, who are men and women who goes out on a day-to-day basis to educate our residents about making sure that they're safe during this time, not only about the heat wave, but about fire incidents and any other life and fire safety educational programs. Because you'll recall that when we have heat waves like this, we are likely to have more veld fire incidents. Due to the fact that the grass is much more dry now, you are likely to have this fire incident. So it means that we need to be aware of such kind of incidents.
Just moving on exactly to my next question, what are the most common incidents that the emergency services respond to during a heat wave based on the past experience?
Yeah, it will be, firstly, our veld fires incidents. They are on the increase, and also our drowning incidents, especially in our informal areas, because we still find young kids trying to swim in our river streams and dams. In most cases, they end up drowning in this, the river streams, and it takes us a lot of our resources to go try and search for them if they drown in those areas, and also it takes a lot of our resources to go and respond to veld fire. So hence we urging all our residents to make sure that they look after themselves, they look after the young ones, they don't sneak out to go and swim in those areas. And of course we cannot forget our residents who are blessed enough to have a swimming pool at home. We advise them to make sure that swimming pool is covered with a fence around it, and also a locked gate, so that kids cannot be able to jump over that fence. And over and above that, the swimming pools need to have a safety net, so that we can be able to prevent drowning incidents, which maybe a young kid might sneak out of the house and try and go and swim in those areas. And of course, most importantly, the people who are visiting us in our household, because we find that the people who are visiting us, they don't know how to swim. So it's very important to make sure that those people who are visiting us, they do have the necessary skills. If we don't have, we make sure that we supervise them so that we prevent a drowning incident, because we've seen that most of the cases, those are the people who are likely to drown in most of the time when we have heat wave like this one.
Thank you so much, Mr. Robert Mulaudzi, spokesperson for the Johannesburg Emergency Services. Just going through some of the advice to parents for all of the for the heat wave that we're currently experiencing, but also looking at what the most common incidences are. But just as we were speaking to Mr. Mulaudzi, you may have heard the fire engine in the background. That's because they've just been called out to a fire that's taken place just in the West Rand of Johannesburg. So Johannesburg is usually quiet quiet during this time of the year when more people are leaving the city and Gauteng in general, but since the heat wave has happened, the emergency service is certainly on high alert, and the most important piece of advice from them, of course, is to always stay hydrated.